All right, once again, I'm digging back in my Intrepid. It's been over a year now, and the cooling system's been running all right, but I noticed I was leaking fluid, coolant. I couldn't quite figure out where it was. Finally, I saw it down in here, right behind this housing, the bleeder housing, and it was coming from the top in the back here somewhere. So I found one online, and we're just going to swap it out. I saw some people online took the intake manifold and they just take the bolts out on top and then lift it just a little bit. They put a pry bar underneath here just to keep it in place, because there are two bolts, you can see in this, two bolts in the back that sit down in there that we need to get to. But other than that, it seems pretty straightforward. So see how it goes. Okay, so here's where we're at. I loosened 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's another one tucked back in there, 8. Let me get a flashlight here and show you, so you can see them down in there. 1, 2. Yeah, so they're just tucked in there. You need a socket extension to get all 8 of those. Once you do that, this whole top on the it loosens up. And what I did is I picked it up a little bit, and then I just put this pry bar on the side to hold it in place. And then that lets me access, so down in there, those 2 screws that were in the back. There's this wire here, and it really, I disconnected it. I don't think you need to. I could get to them with just the socket extension going into both, the left one and the right one. And then I removed these 2 bolts and these 2 here. Took the bleeder valve. I don't know, I didn't need to take those out. And so now this piece should just come off this way, so I'm going to stick a screwdriver in and just try to pry it out, and then this is loose, and it should come right off. I want to mention too that before I started any of this, loosen the cap. In case there's any pressure in the system, make sure the engine is cold also. Alright, so sliding this piece out, sliding this piece out, this guy here is real pain in the butt. What I was doing is I took a screwdriver, and you could kind of get it down in here on this side, because you can see the screws goes in through here and holds it on here, and there's one there and one on this side. You can kind of get in between where it was and pry a little bit. You can see I actually bent this piece a little bit. Don't want to do that too much. And then you could also put the screwdriver here and pry against this metal piece. I also did a little tapping on here, here, and here with the hammer to help get it loose, but it's kind of tough. So you got to keep working on it. And then this guy should now, there we go, we're out. And you can see I moved all of the bolts over already, and put these in here so I don't lose them. All right, and here we got some gaskets. The other one is still on there, so make sure you don't lose those and accidentally have them fall down into your engine somewhere. The new part I got came with gaskets, so I'm going to put those in, and we'll put it back in here. So these were the gaskets that came with it. 1, 2, third one. I've got it in place already. This guy here, I need to, if we look down, yeah, so this, we'll go ahead and pull that off. There, I'll replace that. These, oops, hold on. These have a round side and a more flat side. And the round side is the side that you actually put up into the part. The flat side sits against here. And I'm going to clean all of this up. I want to make it really nice, smooth surface. to really make sure we don't have any leaks coming out of there. And it also came with the new bleeder valve for up here. So that's next. If we inspect this old one, you can see where the coolant had been. So this is the back side. You can see where the coolant had been built up all around the base here, and it was actually, you can see where it was kind of coming down this way, and looks like the seal right through here had been compromised. I mean, this is just like a piece of plastic. It's amazing it even lasts as long as it did. All right, we got it cleaned up, really nice around here. And I've got the new O-ring on. We got new gaskets in place here. And to put this back on, I took the screws out. So these were the long ones are in the front, smaller ones are in the back, and then these two little guys here. So we're gonna try to put it back in place now. So getting this thing back in place is kind of a pain too, just getting over that O-ring. So what I did is I put the screwdriver back here so then I could just push it from the front, and that actually worked really well. That was a lot easier than trying to get my hands in there and then squeeze it together. That really wasn't working. But when I jammed that in there, that gave me something to push up against, and it went in right away. I got my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws back in. You really got to be careful with the back one. You don't drop anything down in there. And again, this wire, you can really work around it. If you have a socket extension, it's not too bad to get these two. Okay, so I got the 8 bolts tightened up. Got the bleeder valves out still because I want to fill the system up now. And if you take the bleeder out, it'll help. If there's any air in there, it just pushes it out right away. Okay, so we're at or slightly above the full line here, and the bleeder valves are out. If I squeeze the upper radiator hose, we can hear, oop, yep, see there's some coolant in there. So I'm going to put the valve back in, and then we'll turn the car on and we'll let it bleed itself to get all the air out of the cooling system. Okay, so I've got the bleeder valve opened up, and I've got just some gas tubing here, and my reservoir is full. So I'm going to turn the car on, and it should bleed itself now, and we should have air coming out here. And then we should, once we get a steady flow of coolant, then we'll know that the system has been bled. And we're off. I actually put a rag here because it's dripping a little bit around the bottom of the valve. But if we look, let's see if we can get a better look here. You see air is being forced out. So we just want to keep this going until we don't see air coming out of the bleeder valve anymore. And keep an eye on the reservoir. If you need to add some in there, keep doing that. But we want to get all the air out of our system. So that's what we're going to do. Just wait it out. While we're waiting on that, you want to make sure your heat is on, because the coolant runs through your heater core. That's actually what provides heat to your car. So that will make sure that all the air that could have gotten in the system is actually going through the entire system then, as we're bleeding it. And I'm actually getting some heat already, so that's good. We'll keep bleeding it until there's no more air. Turning the air on, and this will get the thermostat to open up. We'll get coolant going through the rest of the system. Air on. My fan just kicked on for the radiator, and I'm not seeing too much more air, so I think we're about there. Running for maybe 10 minutes now. You can see the car is not overheating. Still got the AC on, so the fan has cycled probably 3 or 4 times by now. And I was looking down in here to see if we've got any leaks, and I'm not seeing anything aside from what came out of the bleeder valve, but I'm not seeing anything else that's kind of dumping out of the bottom of there anywhere. And our coolant level seems to be holding pretty well. The engine is definitely hot, so I'll just keep an eye on it, drive it around for the next few days, not go too far, and just keep an eye on the coolant level, and we'll see how we do. Hopefully that's it.